Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 31st of December 2018, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this last trading session for this year. Of course, welcome to the last Traders Tea Time for this year as well. As always, before we start jumping into the charts, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, let's jump into the charts very quickly. So, the first one quickly I want to touch on is the S&P 500. Of course, looking at this one, no chance that we're probably going to end up in the positive territory for this year. As you can see by this slightly more highlighted dashed line here. You can see this was the opening price for this year, so we're quite far away from that area, and of course we need to thank the December's trading for this. And as you can see that in December we had a sharp sell-off here. Of course it tried to recover last week a little bit, but still it wasn't enough to kind of get it back towards the opening price. So of course now where we're gonna keep on monitoring, of course going into next year as well, of course we're gonna keep on monitoring the downside, because also what we've got now formed here is this little short-term downside resistance line taken from the peak of the 3rd of October. So this is where we're gonna keep an eye on, because as long as it remains intact, well, I mean the potential here is more to the downside rather than the upside. So even though we could maybe see a bit of a retracement here and a bit of a recovery here back towards these higher levels, but again, for now, of course, looking at this picture, it's more looking bearish than bullish. So let's see how, of course, how next year will start off. So like I said, we could see maybe a bit of a continuation climb here to the upside, especially towards the 2555 approximately there, which is not far from the 21 EMA here, shown as the yellow line here on the daily chart. So keep your eyes on that one. The 2555 could be that next potential area to watch. If of course it wants to continue pushing higher, certainly the main barrier here it will have to overcome will be this little area here between the 2595 and the 2605. So in a way, roughly the 2600. So this is the area that we're going to be keeping a close eye on. And if we do have a nice push above this, then yep, we might as well actually travel here all the way to test this downside resistance line. So let's see if it actually happens. But before we kind of consider such a scenario, we would need to see a nice good push above the 2555 level, and then of course the psychological 2600. So for now, guys, keep your eyes on this one. On the downside here, if this suddenly drops below the 2417, and just to kind of show you what that level was here, the 2417 area approximately there was the low that we saw here around the 18th of August last year. So a nice good drop below this could open the path towards the recent December lows here at around 2352 approximately there. But if that doesn't hold, I mean, if it fails to hold this, then we could be the index could be on its way to form some lower lows here, and of course we will start looking at other potential support areas. This could be one as well, the 2325 area approximately there. But to be honest, going back into history here, certainly we will keep an eye on this little area around the 2235 zone approximately there, marked by the lows of the 30th of December 2016. So let me just quickly put that on our chart just for future reference. So this is what we're going to be keeping a close eye on, but only if we get a drop here below these recent lows near the 2352. So for now, guys, be very careful with this one. Certainly there could be a bit more upside potential here, at least towards the 21 EMA, which could be around the 2555 area. And if that doesn't hold, well, further acceleration to the upside could be possible as well. But for now, these are the levels to watch. On the upside is the 25.55, and on the downside is the 24.17 area. So keep your eyes on that one. Looking at silver, silver had a nice run. Certainly, given in December here, especially last week, we saw this pop here through this key area of resistance near the 14.91 zone, which managed to break. And of course, you can see now looking at this daily chart, silver is kind of currently sitting above the 200 EMA, which is quite a good thing for the bulls. Certainly, even if at some point we could see maybe a retracement back down, especially if the 200 EMA is gonna hold and won't allow the price to kind of, let's say, close below this, then yep, the bulls kind of could try to pick up on that and drive this one back up. And this is where we will aim for the 15.5 again. You can see that today it acted as a very nice area of resistance. This 15.5 managed to reach that level, so this is going to be our new area of resistance to watch. A nice good break above that could open the path towards the 15.75, or even actually going all the way here towards the 16 level. On the downside, if this suddenly drops below the, let's say, the 14.91 level, well, I mean, not all is lost for the bulls still. We do have this little short-term upside support line that could kind of provide a bit of support, but if that doesn't hold, I mean, this is where, of course, we could turn bearish, and this is where we could then target much lower levels, especially these the lows that we saw here in November. But for now, of course, the downside is slightly off the table, unless it's a little correction here back to the downside, where we will keep monitoring these key support areas. Of course, initially the 200 EMA here, or then maybe this 14.91. Maybe we could see a deeper retracement here, maybe. But if it fails to drop below this 14.91 level, then we could see maybe a reversal back up here, and it would be a nice run here for the bulls again towards these higher levels. So for now, be very careful, and let's keep an eye on this price action. Jumping into GBPUSD, now this one is having a fantastic run today, certainly getting fueled here, and we're getting a nice pop here. Looking at this daily chart, kind of broke the 50 EMA here, shown as the red line, managed to test the recent highs here around the 128.10 zone. So let me just quickly put that on the chart here. So there we go. So we managed to test the 128.10. Certainly this provided good resistance for the pair, and it's now slightly declining to the downside. Now, of course, we're gonna keep on monitoring. This is certainly looking quite bullish, because given especially the fact that that it managed to break this key area of resistance that was kind of holding this pair down for quite a while, the 127.05, 06, something like that, approximately there. So we saw this nice pop here to the upside. So of course now the path of least resistance looks more to the to the upside. So of course this is where we're going to aim for the 128.40 level, or even actually going a little bit higher towards the 128.85. so keep your eyes on this one, and the 128.85 could also coincide here with this 100 EMA shown as the green line, so could be another potential area for a test. But for this, of course, now we're going to keep on monitoring this 128.10 level. So this is going to be our gateway towards higher levels. If this gets broken, then yep, we'll aim for this 128.85. On the downside, if this suddenly drops below the 127.06, 05 area, something like that, certainly we're going to start looking at much lower levels, and this is where we're going to aim for the 126.60. Now this 126.60, I was talking about this one in one of my previous videos, and I was telling you guys that this is kind of acting as a magnet for the pair. And like I said, if this drops below the 127.06, 05, keep your eyes, of course, initially on the 126.60. But if it's just going to be like a pit stop for this pair, then of course we'll target these lows around the 126.15, or even actually going to go all the way down here towards the lows of the 14th of December, or even the lows of the 12th of December. And the last here was around the 124.75, so basically the lowest point of December. But then then again, guys, I will repeat myself, for such a scenario we would need to see a nice good drop initially below the 127.05, and then of course below the 126.60. So let's just probably raise it and be more on the safe side. So this is the level that we're going to be keep on monitoring. But for now, judging by the picture that we're seeing here at the moment, it seems to be more bullish than bearish. Looking at the Aussie yen, this one is stuck here near this key area of support near the 77.50 level. So you can see that on the last time it was tested here on the 25th of December, actually provided very good, acted as a very nice bouncing ground for this pair. But since then, after it bounced higher on the 26th, it kind of continued slide lower again. So basically, of course, this is going to be the gateway here. The 77.50 level is going to be that gateway, which, if broken, going to open the path towards the 76.80 level. And just to kind of show you what that level was, the 76.80, we need to go back all the way here, back towards the 2016. So that was basically the lowest point here of November 2016. So keep your eyes on this one, the 76.80. You can see that we had this little spike here to the downside on the 9th. Let me just double check. Yep, on the 9th of November. And this could potentially provide some good support initially, but if that doesn't hold, further declines are possible. But again, let's not get ahead of ourselves too much, and let's see how this performs, how this plays out. If this, like I said, if this gets broken, the 77.50 level gets broken, then yep, this is where we're going to be targeting next, the 76.80 levels. So keep your eyes on that one. Jumping into USDCAD now, looking at this pair, it's a bit of a tricky one, to be honest. And certainly at one point in time here today, it was traveling lower, and it seemed that it wants to correct already, maybe to the downside a little bit. But looking at this right now, it's going to be probably stuck here for the end of today. This is the level that we're keeping a close eye on, the 36.60, and in the past week here, during last week, of course, it acted as a very strong area of resistance. So this is what we're going to keep on monitoring for today. If this gets a push above the 36.60, certainly this could be opening the path towards much higher levels. And in terms of higher levels, now we need to go back into history here, all the way back towards the 2017, May 2017, and of course the next potential good area of resistance could be around the 137.95 area, which was marked here by the highs of May. So the highest point of May 2017 was around the 137.95 area. So but in order to kind of consider that level, we need to see a nice good pop above the 136.60. For now, we're just going to play probably a neutral game, because it's on one hand it seems that it wants to continue traveling higher, but on the other hand it's quite overbought here. So maybe a bit of a correction here to the downside could be healthy for this pair if it wants to travel higher in the long run. So that's why for now, guys, we're gonna play it safe, play it carefully. So we're going to keep an eye on these lows here of last week, around the 135.70 level, around 135 something, around that area. In a way, you could maybe drag it a little bit lower here towards the 135.65, and if we drop below that, then yep, a bit more declines could be possible here. This is where we're going to potentially aim for this 21 EMA, wherever it's going to be here. Maybe it's going to be around the 135 zone, something like that. So that's what we're going to aim for, especially, like I said, if we're going to get a drop below the 135.65 zone. But for now, be very careful with this one. Like I said, it seems that it wants to push higher, but again, let's see if it actually has enough fuel in it. And let's be very careful. This is, like I said, the barrier here is the 136.60. Jumping into last pair here, and that's Euro Aussie. Now looking at this one, certainly had a nice run here. on the 27th of December managed to almost managed to reach this level here around the 163.55 zone. And just to kind of show you that this was the highest point for this year, so almost just fell shy of a few pips of reaching that level. And of course this is where we're going to keep on monitoring the 163.55. Certainly I doubt now that we will reach that area today, maybe something for the remaining of this week, or in other words the new year. So of course the momentum is still here to the upside, even though we're having a bit of a decline here today. But you can see that the bulls are trying to fight back here and pushing the candle, the body of the candle, back up here. And this is of course what we're going to keep an eye on here as well, is this little short-term tentative upside support line here, very steep one of course, and as long as that remains intact we will continue aiming higher. If this suddenly gets broken, for us, let's say, to consider a bit of a slide here lower, we would need to see a nice good drop below the 160.50 level, below these lows that we saw last week. This could be that gateway towards much lower levels, and of course this is where we will aim for the 159.50, or even actually going to go all the way towards the 158.85, which was marked here by the high of the 10th of December. But again, for now guys, be very careful, especially with the downside. Certainly, like I said, it seemed at one point today already, it seemed that it wants to travel lower, but to be honest, quickly you can see that quickly the bulls managed to push it back above this area here of support that was acting as support, the 162.10. So now, like I said, now we're gonna keep on monitoring that, and we're gonna keep on monitoring this steep upside support line. But for now, these are the levels that I'm talking about here, guys. For the downside, keep an eye on the 160.50 level, and on the upside, if we're gonna get a nice pop here above the 162.85, which was marked here by the highs of the 16th of October, the next potential target here is going to be this year's high around the 163.55. But for now, be very careful, and probably, like I said, this day might end the trading session somewhere around here, and that's why be very careful. For now, wait for the confirmation break first and then react on this pair. Okay guys, I'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and I really appreciate you guys, for those who have been watching me and listening to me throughout this year. I really appreciate that, and thank you very much for everything, and I hope you have a fantastic new year, and I'll see you now on the 2nd of January. And yeah guys, I hope the new year brings us a lot of pips here, and as always guys, keep watching the price action, and happy new year. Bye bye.